When people join things and they continue to suffer, they now have to look for the excuse. They are being tested. Maybe demons are following them everywhere they go. They're witches. Satan. There is a being called Satan. He is responsible for all these things. We are up against forces, principalities, and this and that. It is a way to give excuses for your suffering and struggles. Whether you call yourself Christian, you call yourself Muslim, you call yourself Buddhist, you call yourself Krishna, devotee, or you call yourself Shivite, whatever you call yourself, these callings of the soul that belong to, they are the same things, because everywhere you have poked your head into polarity. Wherever you are a candidate of liberation. You are a candidate of salvation. Beloved brothers and sisters, today is a full moon day, and I want to give you a message, and this message is to let you develop a certain understanding. Yes, it is said, in all your gettings, get understanding. In all your gettings, get understanding. In other words, there are many things we are striving for. And among them all, what we need most, what is best, is to strive for understanding. Beloved brothers and sisters, what is that which we should understand? You come into this world, always you find yourself in a particular family. You find yourself in a particular village or town or city. You find yourself in a particular religion. Beloved brothers and sisters, when you find yourself in a particular place and circumstance, time, somebody also finds himself or herself in a different circumstance. Beloved brothers and sisters, let us say you find yourself in a circumstance like a Christian. You are born to Christian parents, and you go through certain things in your life. Somebody is born somewhere as a Muslim because he's born to Muslim parents. Another is born somewhere, and we say traditionalists, traditional religion. Another somewhere as a Buddhist. Another somewhere belonging to the Krishna movement, the Shiva movement, and various others. With all these persons, situations, something goes on, and that thing is the same with all the people. If one is born as a Christian, he experiences good things at times. He or she experiences bad times. Now, as a Muslim, you experience good times. You also experience bad times. As a traditionalist, you experience good times and you experience bad times. As a Buddhist, you experience good times, you experience bad times. As a Krishna follower, you experience good times, you experience bad times. Any other name, let us call, and it is the same thing. On the whole planet. And under these circumstances, each of these divisions will attribute the good times to something and the bad times to something. Yes, the traditionalists, the good times to God and the gods. The gods are being merciful and good times go on. The person who is a traditionalist will be having these good times and will attribute them to the gods, the great ancestors. They are helping, they are merciful, they are good, they are helping the person to become happy, joyful, for the person to have some things good. When the bad times come, then the traditionalists will attribute them to some evil deeds that the gods are unhappy about. The gods are annoyed. Sometimes also, the bad times may be attributed to the devil, to the witches. Let us come to Christianity. The person will have good times. Yes, God is giving a favor. God is giving grace. God is giving mercies. So the good times. Now the bad times, the Christian will attribute them to either God is testing you, or if it is not a test from God, it is a punishment for something. And it could also be that the forces, the devil, Satan, is responsible for the suffering. That is, as a Christian. So, let's see, a Muslim. Good times come. Yes, Allah is merciful. In fact, the word Allah actually means the most merciful one. So mercies come from Allah. Yes. Then when the suffering comes, Satan responsible. Or Allah is testing you. Either it is a punishment or it is a test. Then we get to the Buddhists. Same story. The bad things. Sometimes the good things, the bad things, is attributed to this karma. Bad things you did, making you suffer. Good things you did, making you enjoy. You come to the Krishna followers, it's the same story. The good things, they are mercies from the Lord in response to your good karma. And you are suffering, that one, bad karma, cause and effect. Yes. The Shivites, it goes on and on. The Taoists, the Confucianists, the various things you can belong to. And those who are following the occult, yes, enjoyment. When it is going on, then it is because of the sacrifices. It is because of the rituals you did. Then when bad things are going on for such an occult follower, it's like, he didn't obey well the ritual laws, so he's suffering. So, beloved brothers and sisters, in every situation, wherever you belong, wherever you find yourself, it's not a question of changing from left to right, because enjoyment and suffering, there will be everywhere. It is the same. It's only that the excuses for suffering are different in each place. When you're suffering and you call it a test from God, somebody calls it something else. Yes. So, this we should understand. Sometimes people claim where they belong is the best. Meanwhile, you look at them, they enjoy when enjoyment time comes. They suffer when the suffering time comes. And then they say, if you follow this particular religion, then be prepared for suffering. So that is the excuse. You suffer, and it is something you must accept. So you don't run away from suffering, enjoyment, patterns, if you change from one place to the other. If you change from Christian to Muslim, you will have times to enjoy, times to suffer. If you change from Muslim to Christian, you will have times to enjoy, times to suffer. If you change from traditionalist to something else, you will have time to enjoy, time to suffer. If you change from Christian to traditionalist, you will have times to enjoy, times to suffer. Beloved brothers and sisters, in all your gettings, get understanding. Now, so, enjoyment suffering has nothing to do with belonging. Belonging to this, belonging to that, changes nothing about enjoyment and suffering. If you join the the crusade towards occultism and do the rituals, enjoyment comes and suffering comes. Most people don't know anyway that when they've done the rituals and enjoyment is coming, the enjoyment side is seen by others. The suffering side of that person may not be seen by others. And that is the tricky side. So they think, now it looks like this side, I should join that side because there is, there is only enjoyment from there. It's wrong. It's untrue. Most of the people who have done these rituals and they are getting certain things to enjoy, if you are to know the other side, if you are to know the other side, beloved brother, beloved sister, the sleepless nights that the person passes through, the intense suffering that the person has. And that side is not exposed. So it makes, even in this generation, the youth are attracted to these occult things just because they think they see those people enjoy, but they don't see the other side that they suffer. It's very tricky. But, beloved brothers and sisters, it is untrue. What is going on? Whether Christian, whether Muslim, whether Buddhist, whether Krishna devotee, whether Shiva devotee, whether you are a Taoist, whether you are Confucian, all these other religions in the world, same story. Same story. Something to excuse for suffering. So you move from this to the other, the excuse changes. You suffer, you enjoy. Yes, the non-believer, the one who even says he doesn't believe in God, the presence of God, he has moments to enjoy, moments to suffer. Same story. Yes, only the excuses change. What you put as excuse for the suffering. It changes when you change from one to the other. So, some excuses dull your mind. For example, just say, it is Satan who is doing it. Then you are not responsible for it. Then you get to another situation whereby you are told it is your karma. Whatever suffering, it is your karma. That means, karma means something you did in the past that is hidden, but you have to suffer or you have to enjoy. You did something good, you are now enjoying. You did something bad, now you are suffering. Now, all these things, what is the actual thing to understand out of this? So this tells you, first of all, that belonging to has never stopped anybody from suffering or enjoying. Yes, that one, mark it. It is true. Yes. Great ones of the past sometimes declared it, that yes, you cannot depart from enjoyment, neither can you depart from suffering. If you follow them, you will enjoy, you will suffer. Someone not following them can enjoy, can suffer. So enjoying suffering, I want you to understand, it has nothing to do with belonging to. The belonging to is only to give you what excuse you have to have for the suffering. Beloved brothers and sisters, now, does it mean that the human is doomed to suffer or enjoy? Is it like an impossibility to be without suffering and without enjoyment? There is a mystery inside it, and this is leading to the teaching that is central to what I'm bringing to you. The central teaching is that there is something that is not part of this belonging to. There is something that does not enjoy or suffer as well as far as this world is concerned. So, what doesn't enjoy and doesn't suffer in this world is not actually part of the world as we talk about. And that is what we call spirit. It is only spirit, pure spirit, that doesn't suffer or enjoy. Therefore, pure spirit doesn't belong to any of the categories we've mentioned. It is only something that doesn't belong to any of these things. It doesn't belong to this manifest world. That is the thing which can't suffer or enjoy in this way as we have it in this world. And that thing is called spirit. Now, when the spirit is not part of this, then this, what is this? This is the manifest world, which is always, always, always in polarity. Things and their opposites. Spirit is not part of things and their opposites. Try to understand the basic truth. If spirit is not part of the good and the bad, the negative and the positive, the male and the female, the day and the night, and all the seasons going on, the happiness and the grief, the pleasures and the suffering. Spirit is not part of it. Spirit is not part of polarities, things and their opposites. Try to understand it. The things and their opposites proceeded from spirit through a process of slowing frequency or vibrations down. And we have different type of vibrations, therefore you can have low and high. You see, so this is the way this world and anything part of this world will pass through things and their opposites. The only thing which doesn't pass through is spirit. So, your spirit is just observing this polarity zone. But the polarity is put into activity by the presence of the spirit. The spirit energizes things to happen within the zone, this zone of positive and negative, happiness and suffering. So if you create any situation within this zone, then it will conform to the principles and laws of this world. You can't escape from it. But your spirit is behind everything. It is not part of it. It is just observing. Just the same way you watch a film. It is unfortunate when you watch the film for so long, there is a little trick in your mind. As you are watching, it appears to be real, something real going on. And that is the tricky side of it. We call it illusion. So, we all know the films are acted, but when you are absorbed watching the film, for the period, you even forget it is an act. So somebody kills somebody in the film, and there is a feeling in you, in your internal side of manifestation, which we call the mind and so on, and the emotions. They are all part of the created situation, polarities. But somehow you get so absorbed that you think these things, for a moment, you forget that it is an act, that the film is an act. So you can become sad whilst watching it, whilst it is an act. And something goes on in the film and you laugh, you enjoy, forgetting that it is an act, it is some real happening. So this is what is happening to the spirit, but the spirit, in truth, is not a part of the happiness and the suffering of this world. So, whatever we attribute to the suffering and the enjoyment, your spirit is aloof. It is you, through illusion, attributing to this, attributing to that. Try to get the understanding. When a Christian sees a Muslim, sometimes might be thinking, hey, why waste time there? Join us here. And where the Muslim is, there is enjoyment, there is suffering. He comes to join you, you are also passing through the same enjoyment, suffering. So what is the difference? So he has to join you. We postpone the enjoyment which has no suffering. We postpone it to future. And that is another excuse. Join us. Even though now we are enjoying and suffering, in future, when we leave this body, we will enjoy. But if the Muslim is also enjoying and suffering, and is also putting it after death, that there will be enjoyment, no suffering, no more cry. So is it not possible to be here right now and be freed somehow from the suffering and the enjoyment patterns? The only possibility, beloved brothers and sisters, the only freedom is for your spirit to awaken from this dream, this illusion. When your spirit awakens, then there is great awareness of your presence beyond suffering. Who you really are doesn't suffer. Who you really are doesn't enjoy the way we talk of enjoyment in this world. Who we are is an expanded presence. And whatever we admire here, whatever we want to enjoy, the peace, the love, and all these blissful feelings, joy, they are only expanded within spirit. And in spirit state, you don't have suffering and enjoying. The changing from this to this doesn't happen within spirit state. And that is not a religion. Whatever religion you have, if you attain this state, the purpose, religion is pointing to the thing, but it's pointing to it in future. That when you die, then you get there. No more suffering, no more crying, so much peace. But beloved brothers and sisters, get the understanding. When you awaken spiritually out of the illusion, then you are not part of the partying going on. It's like you have shaken yourself out of it, the real you spirit. And within that state, there's no suffering, there's no enjoyment of this type that we have in the world. Opposing each other. Occasionally you suffer, occasionally you enjoy. If your spirit gets confused in the absorption in this illusion, then you will experience suffering and enjoyment. Yes. Therefore, beloved brothers and sisters, the greatest thing, the greatest attainment is when your spirit becomes freed from illusions. The degree of suffering in this world is directly proportional to the degree of false identity. This is the truth. If you are less in false identity, you suffer less. If you are deep in false identity, you suffer more. If you are 100% detached from illusion, from false identity, no suffering. And apart from this, there is no way you can belong to all things. It has been going on in history up to now, and it's now going on, that the only way is to pull from the polarity where things are happening this way. You are the spirit beyond it. So realize your true self. Be free. Get out of the bondage. And there is no suffering. There is no worldly enjoyment. If you understand this, beloved brothers and sisters, if you say, oh, this is a wonderful way, let me follow it. And there is the Jan Cosmic Foundation, and I'm going to join it. and there wouldn't be any suffering, there wouldn't be any worldly polarities. It is not a social situation. Social situation is worldly situation. And if you joining it as a social situation doesn't free you from the pattern of enjoyment and suffering. It is the same pattern whether you call yourself Christian, you call yourself Muslim, you call yourself Buddhist, you call yourself Krishna, devotee, or you call yourself Shivite, whatever you call yourself, these callings of the soul that belong to, they are the same things, because everywhere you are poked your head into polarity. So if you join the Jan Cosmic Foundation, I want you to understand, seek beyond the social aspect, the society that you belong to. Belonging to doesn't make any difference between suffering and enjoyment. But if you seek the essence of my message, the essence is to take you to the point where you drop false identity. Once you achieve that, then you become a witness of the false identity going on. And you look at it and you smile, because you're spirit, you're eternal. So birth and death are opposite things, and spirit is beyond birth and death. So you see all these things playing out in the drama, and you observe it and you smile. You are peaceful and you're joyful. Majority poke their head inside it and they are dazed and they are confused and they have false identity upon themselves. Now is the time to really back out of it. So don't come with the same mentality of joining something, and the mere joining of it makes you secure from suffering. And then when people join things and they continue to suffer, they now have to look for the excuse. They are being tested. Maybe demons are following them everywhere they go. They're witches. Satan. There is a being called Satan. He is responsible for all these things. And we are up against forces, principalities, and this and that. It is a way to give excuses for your suffering and struggles. Just spiritually pull yourself to the real identity that you belong to, and all these things. You only witness them. You just observe them. Your body may be part of the worldly system. It's your equipment. It can even pass through those things. But your body is not you. Your mind can pass through those things. Your mind is not you. So once you realize your true identity, you don't confuse with these patterns of suffering and enjoyment. Beloved brothers and sisters, today being a full moon day, I wanted you to have such a lesson and go beyond the externals. Go beyond belonging to. Seek the essence Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open unto you. Never cease until you are freed. Never seek seeking. Don't be caught into this belonging to. Wherever you are a candidate of liberation. You are a candidate of salvation. It doesn't have anything to do with just a particular place, particular circumstances, all those things. You have to go beyond. Yeah. So, this is the information, this is the message I have for you today, being a full moon day. Thank you, beloved.